honest with ourselves. Lobbyists for technology interests, energy, and Chamber of Commerce interests worked with state legislators during the 2023 General Assembly to introduce legislation to permit these facilities and get it enacted. That legislation paved the way for data centers, artificial intelligence computing campuses, and similar cryptocurrency mining operations and similar high-impact utility-intensive facilities to operate in Arkansas. That legislation was foisted on legislators the last week during the final days of the 2023 legislative session. The legislation was enacted without serious opposition or even serious debate because most of the legislators didn't see it coming and had hardly any time to study it before they were required to vote it up or down. And they didn't have sense enough to vote it down or to table it when they knew that it was that big. Serious people take time to do serious work. And serious people who know serious work when it's coming don't let people treat them like chumps when the serious work comes up. I use these words intentionally because the Pulaski County Quorum Court should not be like the Arkansas General Assembly. Our JPs and our Quorum Court and our residents are not crunched for time. We aren't overwhelmed by the press of other business. We have no excuse for refusing to take the time needed to learn how these facilities work and how to locally regulate a fast-moving, fast-growing economic phenomenon for our society and the world. So I'm glad more people are resisting the ploy by corporate profiteers and their political cronies to exploit our resources, oppress our neighbors, and permanently scar the landscape of our county, our communities, and our future. And these and other questions are why I'm taking this opportunity to speak more about the measures that Justice of the Peace Rebecca Davis, Kathy Lewison, Julie Blackwood, Donna Massey, Tina Ward, and Patricia Young Baker and I are urging the Quorum Court to embrace, adopt, and enact to protect Pulaski County. Let me explain what they are. Item 26-I-31 was sponsored by Justice Julie Blackwood. It's a proposed emergency ordinance to establish a conditional use permit process for applications, evaluation, approval, appeal, and enforcement concerning high-intensity digital infrastructure as well as high-impact, utility-intensive industrial facilities in an unincorporated area of Pulaski County. This ordinance would apply to those development projects that continuously demand 10 megawatts or more of electrical power or 100,000 gallons of water daily or 100,000 square foot or larger facility. Projects meeting those criteria are more likely than others to produce off-site infrastructure impacts on the electric grid, on our water supply, wastewater treatment systems, emergency services systems, rural fire districts, roads, and on county legal, administrative, and public safety services. Item 26-I-32 is also sponsored by Julie Blackwood. It's a proposed county regulation that explains why these facilities should be classified as heavy industrial land uses rather than light industrial. The Google data center projected for the Port of Little Rock is listed as a light industrial use. The Avio Leo AI campus for the area outside Wrightsville is predicted as a light industrial use. But the Ohio facility, as anybody who doesn't come and enter that search will find, is projected to begin with a 150 megawatt load. That's the load comparable to the amount of electric load used to power 150,000 to 200,000 households, or up to 400,000 people. By the way, Pulaski County's population is slightly above 400,000 people. So one project would begin with an electrical load comparable to the entire electrical use of the entire population of Pulaski County, and they call that light industrial? As I told somebody from Google, I don't wear a Google Food t-shirt. Item 26-I33, also sponsored by Julie Blackwood, is another proposed resolution that designates the Port of Little Rock Industrial Complex, neighboring Sweet Home, and other incorporated areas in East Pulaski County as a regional infrastructure impact corridor. That way, county officials will have a responsibility to proactively engage with other municipalities, such as the City of Little Rock, that contemplate approving development projects that carry these kind of potentials. Item 26-I34, again approved by Julie Blackwood. Again, been before the County Planning Department for a month. Is a proposed emergency ordinance that requires a notice of industrial intent and impact, NOII, filing, and a thorough review that would commence 90 days from the time that a property has been acquired or intended for development for these facilities. And finally, item 26-I45 is a proposed 12-month temporary resolution sponsored by Justice of the Peace Tina Ward, Julie Blackwood, Rebecca Davis, and Patricia Young Baker. That would impose a temporary 12-month moratorium on permitting and approving these facilities and their projects so that Pulaski County can engage in a comprehensive schedule review and planning process and public discourse on how they should be regulated. Justice of the Peace Phil Stowers, who announced last Friday that he will resign his position after serving more than 2 decades on the Quorum Court tomorrow evening, has led opposition to any moratorium unless the Ohio Leo Artificial Intelligence Campus, planned for outside Wrightsville, is exempted from the moratorium. Let me close by explaining why that is a bad idea. I pulled up a summary of the Ohio Leo project on the internet. Not hard. Type Ohio Leo, Arkansas. It comes up. AI makes it happen. Here's what I found. Quote, Ohio Digital Leo is a massive 760-acre hyperscale data center and power campus under development in Pulaski County, Arkansas, just south of Little Rock, near 145th Street and Interstate 530. Representing the largest economic investment in state history, the $6 billion first phase is designed to power next generation AI and cloud workloads. Built in multiple phases, the initial investment is $6 billion, with the potential to exceed $21 billion through full build-out. Ground broke in early 2026, with the first 100 megawatts of grid capacity scheduled to go online in June 2027. For the record, this is a year from now. Initially contracted for 150 megawatts with Energy Arkansas, hello. The site has a clear path to scale up to, check this, 1 gigawatts of base load power as demand grows. Close quote. As I mentioned, an electrical load of 150 megawatts is comparable to the continuous power consumed by roughly 100,000 to 150,000 standard homes, or a large residential community, or a sprawling suburban footprint, or a city of about 250,000 to 400,000 people, or I should say a county. So the proposed Aveo-Leo data center and AI campus will have an initial electrical load larger than all the homes in Pulaski County. There is no legitimate reason for any development project with that electrical load to be exempt from sensible, transparent regulations, policies, and procedures. And there is no legitimate reason County Judge Barry Hyde, Plan Administrator Jim Craner, County Attorney Hamilton Kemp, yes, I call their names, and anyone else should want the Aveo-Leo to escape a temporary 12-month moratorium when Aveo doesn't expect it to go online until a year from now. As Justice of the Peace Tina Ward said last Tuesday night, this is real. We ought to act like it. I'll take your questions.